Hey guys, I wanted to make a really quick video about title formatting in MLA format. So we have to consider our titles and whether they are supposed to be italicized, as you see here, or in quotation marks, as you see here. This is going to be something that I'll be looking for as you're writing. So one of the ways that we can think about this is long works versus short works. Or you could also think about it as containers versus what is contained. Possibly another way to think about it is the whole pie versus the slice of a pie. So long works are containers. They are bigger projects that contain smaller elements, or they're entire pies that have separate pieces within them. A long work, for example, is a book. A book contains, what does a book contain? Chapters, right? So let's say you are reading a textbook, and your whole textbook is something like Science in the Modern Century, and then the first chapter is chapter 1. I can't even come up with a made-up title for that. So chapter 1 it is. The long work, the book, is a container and it contains chapters, okay? You could think of it as a book is longer than a chapter, or you could think of it as the container visual. Some other examples of long works would be television shows. So an entire television series, is probably what I should say here, an entire television series contains episodes. So whenever you're referring to a whole series like Grey's Anatomy, you would put that in italics. But if you're going to start talking about individual episode titles, then you would want to put that in the title of each episode in quotation marks. Let's say you have a book of poetry. Instead of that having chapters, I mean, it might have chapters, but more likely it's going to have poems. Imagine you had an entire website, such as Wikipedia. What does the entire Wikipedia website contain? It contains pages, Wikipedia pages, right? So here you could think of pages on a website. Let's say you have a magazine, and this could be a magazine that is either a hard copy magazine or a magazine online. What can you find in a magazine? Articles. Okay, let's say you had a scholarly journal. What's in a scholarly journal? Scholarly articles. Okay, so that's the concept. That's how you could start to identify, should this work be a long work or should it be a short work? Another idea that comes to mind is an album. And what is contained in a musical album? Songs. So when you're looking at all of these works, long works versus short works, and whether or not they should be in italics or quotation marks, you can kind of follow this pattern. There might be some situations where you're not sure, well, is it a long work or a container, or a short work, something that is contained? That could be an example of art, for example. Art might not necessarily have anything that's contained within it, but the title of a piece of art should be written in italics. Another thing that you can do is take a look at your citation. So if you've followed the MLA rules for citing and you've built a citation, however the title is written in the citation is how it's going to be written in your paper when you're writing about that source. So in this example here, this looks like a page from a website. So the short work is the page on the website titled How to Make a Vegetarian Chili. The entire website is eHow, and you see that it's in italics. Here's another example. We have a scholarly article title here of just the article, that's in quotation marks, and it was published in the scholarly journal, Tulsa Studies in Women's Literature, and that's in italics. Here's a final example. The song Pray You Catch Me by Beyonce is housed in the album Lemonade, and so we've got two separate ways of writing these titles, because of their signifier as either a container or a long work, or what is contained, a short work, the song title. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know.